Gentlemen, it's all yours.
Thanks again, Jim. And here is 33-year-old Francesco Damiani of Italy. Damiani, who comes off a first-round knockout last April, is the former WBO heavyweight champion, former European heavyweight champion, and the 1984 Olympic silver medalist. He's 29-1 with 24 knockouts. His only loss, a ninth-round KO by Ray Mercer for the WBO title in January of '91. Three-year-old veteran, this is Greg Page, the former WBA heavyweight champ. Last fought in June, dropping ex-champ James Bone Crusher Smith in the opening seconds of the first round, but settled for a unanimous decision. And just when many thought he was on his last leg back in February, Page had a fine performance against Razor Ruddock, although it was stopped after the 8th round, a TKO loss for Page. Bobby, the knock on Page over the years, the dreaded quote, unquote, he never reached his full potential. Just a very inconsistent career.
I think Greg Page has to concentrate on being consistent. He has the body, he has the skills, but I don't think he's been consistent with it. The question is which Greg Page shows up. Now at 33 years old, he feels that he's not only feeling better, but that he's fighting better. This is a new Greg Page, and coming off even the loss in Ruddock was more impressive than in many of his wins.
And although Greg Page may never reach expectations, he's always been a pretty good boxer.
Oh, he's certainly a good boxer, and he told me today that one of his biggest motivations for this fight was to silence our Conrad, Freddie Pacheco. He wants to look good.
Yes, I overheard that. He said every fight is important, but his main focus is to shut up Freddie Pacheco tonight. And let's see how they stack up as we go to the tail of the tape. As mentioned, both are 33. The inch-and-a-half height advantage for Damiani, the weight almost even. You don't see that too often in a heavyweight bout. And Page with the 2-inch reach advantage. We go to the Nevada rules for this non-title affair. 10-point must system. 3 judges scoring the fight. No standing 8 count. 3 knockdown rule is in effect. Only the referee can stop the fight. And a fighter cannot be saved by the bell except in the last round. So we're closing in on our first bout of the evening, a matchup of heavyweights, a pair of former world champions, Greg Page versus Francesco Damiani. And let's get the official introductions from our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and welcome to the beautiful Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas, Nevada, as Don King Productions and the Las Vegas Hilton, in association with Corona Beer, present the first of our 3 featured bouts of the evening. At this time, we introduce the big men of boxing in the ring and a heavyweight special attraction scheduled for 10 rounds of boxing. At this time, I introduce to you the judges for this bout. We have Art Lurie, Dave Moretti, and Jerry Roth. And introducing the referee in charge, he will be giving instructions shortly, Carlos Padilla. All right, fans, here we go. This bout coming your way once again, scheduled 10 rounds of boxing. I introduce to you first on my left, fighting out of the blue corner. He is wearing white trunks with blue trim and coming all the way from Bagnacavallo in Italy. He weighed in at 231 pounds. And he enters the ring with a fine record, 29 wins, only 1 defeat, 24 wins by way of knockout. Welcome the former WBO heavyweight champion of the world, Francesco Damiani. Damiani. And his opponent across the ring. On my right, fighting out of the red corner in this 10-round heavyweight featured bout, he is wearing white trunks with red trim. Originally from Louisville, Kentucky, he now fights out of Las Vegas, Nevada. With a weight of an even 230 pounds, his record includes 35 wins, 10 losses, 27 wins by way of knockout. Introducing the former WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Greg Page. Once again, here's your referee in charge, Carlos Padilla.
Okay, who is the 10 seconds? 10 seconds? 10 seconds. Okay, you will be responsible for any misbehavior of your assistant second. Okay, Damiani, Page, you're going to box for 10 rounds. I expect a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Avoid using any kinds of foul. Don't throw any punches during the break. Any question? Okay, seconds come out fighting. Okay. Carlos.
Greg Page, who reached the pinnacle with his second title shot in 1984 when he knocked out Jerry Coetzee in South Africa. Francesco Damiani, who won the WBO title in '89 with a third-round knockout of South African Johnny Dufoy. And here we go, round one. It is scheduled for 10. Greg Page in the white with the red trim, 35-10 with 27 knockouts. Francesco Damiani in the white trunks with the blue trim, 29-1 with 24 knockouts. That lone defeat, a ninth-round knockout by Ray Mercer, in which he lost the WBO title in January of '91, 3 fights ago.
Both fighters came out very loose and very warmed up. Both have a good sweat. At the stare down, which was pretty good, they wouldn't shake hands.
No, for the first time in a long time, I don't see that much fat on Greg Page. He looks like he's serious.
I believe he's 3 pounds lighter than his last fight, and he looks like he's in a bad mood.
Yeah, he does. He looks like he's violent tonight, which is rare for him. He usually comes out so calm and cool, it takes him a couple of rounds. Well, he's opening up in that first round as hard as he can right now.
He's probably thinking about the post-fight interview with you.
Yeah, I'm going to send Bobby up there because Bobby can block left hooks better than I can.
I got your back, Freddie.
Greg Page, nothing flashy, moves well, throws good punches, has always been a fairly good boxer. Francesco Damiani, effective in his awkwardness. An annoying type fighter, but he is always there.
Page was adamant at the weigh-in that he wanted this to be a knockout. He did not just want to win a decision. He wanted to stop Damiani.
Damiani's awfully slow. His reflexes are very slow, but he's ponderous. He tries to throw real hard punches, but, you know, with the speed that Greg Page has, even at this age, he should be able to out-slick him.
And he's not really a puncher. Damiani's more of a methodical plotter that throws light punches, but a lot of them. He never looks like he's in shape, yet he's always there. Late rounds, he's still throwing them.
Damiani told us yesterday, hey, I'm 33 now. I don't really have much time left. I'll have to be better against Greg Page than I was against Ray Mercer. It'll be too late if I lose tonight.
Warning for low blow for Greg Page, who has been throwing him south of the border. That's the first warning he's gotten.
Carlos Padilla, the third man of the ring.
When we told Damiani he was a 3-1 favorite, when the odds opened up, he seemed so surprised and shocked. He didn't even want to really talk about it.
And you're the one who broke the news to him.
Oh, nice right hand by Damiani right over the top.
Damiani just content to lean on the shoulders of Greg Page. Damiani had his nose broken by a vicious Ray Mercer uppercut, you might recall, when Francesco lost the WBO heavyweight title in '91. He was knocked out by Mercer in the ninth.
That's kind of misleading when you say knocked out, because what happened was they broke his nose. He couldn't get up. He was just spewing blood. He didn't lose consciousness, but it does go down as a knockout. Technically, it's correct.
Yeah, it was a vicious right hand. I was close, and he just didn't want to continue.
Another 2 good shots by Damiani. Not that much behind him, as you say, Bobby. They're not powder puff punches, but not zinging punches.
He's a little more aggressive than I thought he'd be. I asked him what kind of tactics he decided he was going to employ. He said he wasn't sure, wanted to see Page first.
You got to jab a little bit more. Okay? Give us some water, Papa. Jab a little bit more. All right? Drink some, Papa. In the mouth. Come on. You
With them body shots, Greg. You gotta start fighting on the inside when you get close. You ain't throwing them body shots when you get in close, all right? Open your legs. Once you get in close, open your legs, bend your legs.
Devi far comandare lui. Mi segui stasera, eh? Voglio vedere. Respira forte. Vuoi qualcosa? Ok. Con l'acqua, via. Il butto. Lì. Respira profondo. Ancora. Molto bene.
Più coperto, più determinato, eh? Va bene?
Well, it certainly seemed satisfied in Damiani's corner outside, telling him to breathe hard. Said, continue to that. You're doing just what we want you to do. On Page's side, they said, start working a little bit harder. Where I thought he outworked him and outslicked him in the first round, did Page. Damiani, on the other hand, didn't lose the first round big. He was just in there fighting, just waiting for that momentum to develop. He's got patience.
It was a competitive round, and maybe Damiani's corner thinks that it's something where they're going to have to wear Greg Page down, but I certainly don't think he won the first round.
No, I gave it to Page on outslicking him and outworking him, which is odd for Page, because Page usually goes to sleep for 2 or 3 rounds. He's here to fight. This is a Page we saw against Razor Ruddock, where he gave him everything he wanted. I mean, this is a fighting Page.
It is round 2 scheduled for 10. And just to amplify what Bobby said at the end of the first round, we asked Damiani what he had to do to beat Page, and he said simply, I never think about technique. It depends on the opponent. I just feel it out. Do fighters really do that, or is that something they just say it way is?
I really think that some fighters do not like to study their opponents, would rather deal with it and feel it as they go. Myself, I want to study everything that I can. I think most good fighters do study.
I think Damiani, much the bulkier and heavier fighter, thinks he can outstrength Greg Page and wear him out, because he's willing to take a few shots, but look at all the mauling and pushing he's doing on him.
It may be one of his tactics to just wear him out and tire him, shove him, push him, wrestle him with him a little bit, but he was only a pound difference in the weight, so there's not that much extra weight to toss around.
It just looks like it. Nice right hand by Damiani. Every once in a while he lands a clean punch from outside. If he starts putting some zing in that, that'll have an effect.
Greg Page surprised a lot of people in boxing with his fine performance against Donovan Razor Ruddock. The bout was stopped after the 8th round, but many in attendance were very impressed with Page's stamina and strength.
Damiani's getting home with the right hand a little more often now. Doesn't have real bad intentions on it, but it's getting there.
There's a good right by Damiani.
Damiani's getting in there. It's just that he's getting out-slicked a little bit by Greg Page. If Page can keep up this pace, which is hard to do for 10 rounds.
This will be a dance a little later if they keep this up. There's a lot of grabbing, a lot of wrestling. That's very tiring on the inside, especially with men at this weight.
Damiani at 231, Page at 230.
Page another warning for a low blow there about 30 seconds ago. That's 2 in 2 rounds. We'll start to see if that takes effect. You know, Padilla can take a round away from you, as you know, Bobby.
Yes, he can do some very strange things.
Another solid right there by Damiani, who continues to land.
Doing much better is Damiani this round.
And that is it for round 2. Right now, we are set to introduce the other member of our broadcast team. We'll be providing celebrity and VIP interviews. We welcome Earl Abdullah. Earl.
All right, thank you, Steve. And we have John Giovinco, president of the Hilton Corporation. John, I know this is a great promotion for you. You have to feel good about it.
Well, we're very happy to have this fight here. Over 19,000 people, the 4th largest fight in Las Vegas history. Mr. Hilton knew it was going to be a big sellout when he signed the fight, so we're really excited about having it here.
Working with Don King and Don King Productions has to be a great situation with this Mexican Independence Weekend, Mexican Independence Day coming up.
Well, we've been working with Don for a long time. Don brought Mike Tyson to the Hilton, and we had all of the Tyson heavyweight championship fights, or most of the heavyweight championship fights of Tyson. Don has always delivered. Whatever he said he was going to do, he delivered to the Hilton, and our association with him has been very pleasant. I know he has a reputation of being very difficult and very flamboyant, but we've had a good relationship.
Thank you very much, John Giovinco.
All right, thank you, Earl. This fight sold out faster than any other major bout in Las Vegas history. This is round 3 between Greg Page and Francesco Damiani. Damiani looking stronger in that second round.
I have this an even fight now, but still, neither fight plan has evolved. Greg Page came out to out-slick and outbox him, but to keep that up for 10 rounds is not his style at 33 years of age. Damiani fighting more of his style because he's a big, blocky, keep on going slow at a time, wear him out. As you said, Bobby, his punches aren't that much, but they just catch up to you.
Yeah, he's looking to, like I said, push him on the inside, just rough him up a little bit, make a similar to a street fight out of it. But right now, I see that the energy level is going to take for that is going to cause this fight to be very slow in later rounds.
And keeping up with the low blow festival, Padilla went to the corner and warned Page, don't keep hitting low. That was warning number 2 and number 3 in the corner. So let's see. Now that was a very low one by Damiani.
Well, he reacted in kind.
Damiani being cautioned by Carlos Padilla. Seems to be that Greg Page continues to keep himself open for that Damiani right.
I thought I saw a little bit of swelling around his left eye, Greg Page, and that could be the results of that right hand.
Now toe-to-toe in the center of the ring, but just leaning on each other. That time the right missed, and Page looks to counterattack. Page going to the jab, which snapped Damiani's head back, but not much damage in that exchange. Good combination to the head by Damiani.
Nice right hand, and that swelling is going to take effect if that right hand keeps landing, Bobby.
There's going to be a fight of attrition here, and that right hand now coming underneath.
Nice uppercut, Bobby.
And we see your mouthpieces out. Can't tell whose it is.
I think it's Page's.
Yes, it is.
Because the other one would have spaghetti stains all over.
Hey, mouthpiece.
Oh, another right hand by Damiani. And working underneath by Damiani. Look.
He's digging the body. Well, it is clear that part of his tactics are throwing that right hand over the jab.
And now, with a little low in the action, Carlos Padilla makes the judgment call to get the mouthpiece washed and put back into the mouth of Greg Page.
Damiani starting to outwork Greg Page.
He's forcing the fight a lot. He really is forcing it.
He's making it happen the way he wants it to happen.
Oh, a solid right hand by Damiani, and out goes the mouthpiece again.
I believe 3 times in the same round is sometimes they use for disqualification, but I'm not sure if that's the case in Nevada.
I think they should have been allowed to fight a little bit more before that. I mean, you just got hit a hard right hand, and before you can see whether it registered anything, you took a timeout.
So Damiani has twice dislodged the mouthpiece from the mouth of Greg Page.
I'm a firm believer that when you lose the mouthpiece, you shouldn't get it back till you go to the corner. I think it interrupts the action too much and becomes a ploy for fighters that are tired or maybe hurt.
Or hurt. I mean, the best thing to do if you're hurt is put out the mouthpiece. And another round, I think, in the kip for Damiani.
Winning every round, Greg. All right? Not every round, relax. All right? A little bit more jab. All right? Stop bouncing so much. Fighting there at a time. You're stepping in with your left jab. All right? All right? And bite down on that mouthpiece. All right? All right? Come on now. Keep that combination. All right? Keep the combination.
Let's look at that uppercut. Whoa, that should take your mouthpiece out if anything else does. And later on, Bobby, take a look at this.
Well, you got Damiani coming in again. Right hand on the button. Out comes the mouthpiece. He is throwing that right hand with purpose.
And I think Page is throwing out the mouthpiece with what you call bad intention. I mean, in other words, give me a little break here. That one hurt.
Relax. 3 rounds underneath the belt, all right? He's tired.
Too much Vaseline on the face of Greg Page, and looked a little reluctant to get back into the fray here. Round 4 scheduled for 10. Some good advice from Aaron Stoll, the chief trainer of the corner of Greg Page. Bites down harder on the mouthpiece.
Oh, nice punch by Page. Good right hand right on the button of Damiani. It didn't seem to bother him, but boy, spray of sweat went out.
Page looking to return the favor with that right hand and get a few of his own home.
There's something else, Bertie and Bobby, that I see Page doing. He seems to be bouncing around too much, and I think Stoll brought that to his attention as well.
Quit bouncing, they said, and he's right. Bouncing's good if you're doing something with it. If you're just bouncing, you're just getting yourself tired, and you really haven't done anything with it. You can't plant yourself to throw a punch.
Page has not been a fighter that's been noted for standing, planting his feet, and firing power punches. He has to do some moving, but he doesn't have to bounce quite as much. Takes an awful lot out of the legs over a long fight.
Especially when you're 33 and you're getting hammered by some guy who's hammering body blows. Because don't forget, Damiani does not neglect the body.
Again with the right hand over the jab. He's trying to get it home, and the mouthpiece is on the floor once again.
And that is the third time within 2 rounds that has occurred.
Got to put some of that stuff that people put on their plates to hold them in. Don't you think, Bobby?
Denture cream.
Yeah.
How about some Elmer's glue? I think that might work.
Give Damiani a break. He's getting tired of walking to the neutral corner.
Now Damiani going to the body, and Greg Page exchanges some blows to the body too.
They're slowing down a little bit. You can see the pace settling into a heavyweight waltz a little bit more.
Ooh, 2 nice hooks by Damiani. Damiani's got one of those faces, one of those 1930 fighters in bad movies. You see that? Yeah, he's got those deep set eyes and that nose.
He's got a Primo Carnera look.
Yeah.
Damiani is being very purposeful. I mean, if you look at him, you say this is not a perfect physical specimen. He looks a little heavy around the midsection, but he is working. He's working consistently, and he's continually doing what he wants to.
And what he wants to is pretty good. Pummel the body, get those uppercuts going, and when you get that long distance, throw that long right, which is closing the eye and at least knocking out the mouthpiece of Greg Page. There's another one.
A short, crisp right hand by Damiani, and he has been scoring all night with that. And now the left by Damiani.
He's got a deceptively effective left hand, too. Jabbing wise, uppercut wise inside. He just throws it not real hard, but he's in your face all the time.
Well, as we said earlier, I think you tipped me off to this at yesterday's weigh-in. He is effective in his awkwardness, talking about Damiani.
Yeah, sometimes his style is very awkward, and you can't figure him out. Some more unorthodox angles the punches are coming from, but because it is so unorthodox, it becomes effective.
And the fact that it's continuous, Bobby, this guy doesn't give you any breaks. He's not taking any breaks. He's just going at it.
Heavyweights aren't used to that type of pace, and he's holding a very good pace for heavyweight right now.
He just threw a beautiful uppercut, which missed, but had it landed, would that have been resounding? Did Damiani.
He's supposed to wait till he gets on the inside for that one.
And that is it for round 4.
You don't need that right down on your mouthpiece. You need more jabs from you, man. You ain't throwing enough jabs, all right? You see more jabs from you. All right, you're slipping a lot of punches. Jab, left hook down there, all right? 1 jab, 2 jabs, 3 jabs, 4 jabs.
Ok, I'll get it. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Sta buono. Sta buono, per forza o ti mando via dall'angolo.
Carlos,
Silenzio, lasciami lavorare.
when they spit them out, don't giving him water.
Silenzio, stai zitto.
You know what they're saying? They're giving him water.
Water, yeah, go water.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay.
Vieni.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
So that dispute was about the water. They're saying, the Italians' corner saying every time they wash out the mouthpiece, they give Greg Page water, which is illegal and not supposed to. Although, Bobby, I don't think that makes one bit of difference.
No, probably the rest is more important at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, water in the belly when you're getting punched to the belly is a great idea anyway.
Round 5 scheduled for 10.
Aaron Snow was imploring Page to jab more, keep him off and work his fight, and we'll see if he can get it done.
Well, this is by no means a shutout. We're just kind of looking at a guy that's doing most of the action, but Page is fighting back. It's not just a one-way fight. It's just he's not as effective as Damiani. Damiani's controlling the fight and he's bringing it to him.
Yeah, right now I think that the Page is allowing him, like again, the right hand. He's allowing him to get to him too often. Another one over the top. He's leaving himself a little too open there and allowing Damiani to fight his fight a little too easy.
And in certain instances, Damiani seems to telegraph that tomahawk right, but still Page lets it penetrate.
Well, that comes with fading reflexes. You see it coming and you can't do anything about it.
Page, a 13-year pro out of Louisville, Kentucky, now makes his home here in Las Vegas. Damiani out of Italy. Bagnacovato, Italy.
Both men are 33 years old, and they know that on a tremendous fight card like we have tonight, it's very important to be impressive, and most of all, to win.
I think the 33 years of age is more important on Page because during that time he's had some very tough fights, whereas Damiani really hasn't had a big tough career where he's had to go out and get beatings like Greg Page has taken.
The competition over in Europe is a lot more limited and restricted for him, and he's been brought along very nicely and cared for.
Well, you talk about the exposure that Page and Damiani are getting tonight. There is nearly every seat taken already here at the Thomas and Mack Center, 19,000 strong. And this will rank as the 4th largest all-time crowd in Las Vegas, behind only Holmes Cooney in 82, Holmes Ali in 80, Leonard Holmes in 81, and ahead of such classic bouts as Leonard Duran, Hagler Hearns, and Leonard Hearns.
That's hard to believe.
It is unbelievable.
That is hard to believe.
It's a tribute to Julio Cesar Chavez and Hector Camacho.
Absolutely, and to a good promotion because there's 3 good fights on tonight. Oh, another spitting out.
That's the 4th time in this fight that Page has lost his mouthpiece.
And this time it was a left hook that knocked it out.
We'll start to keeping a new category here.
Let's look at them, see if they're giving him water. They are giving him water.
1 point. Go on, 1 point.
1 point. 1 point.
Okay.
That's something you don't see very often.
Well, it's, you know, it gets to be a little bit ridiculous if the mouthpiece just keeps falling out 2 or 3 times around every other round. It's just something you can't allow to happen. It really interrupts the entire fight.
So Carlos Padilla asserting his authority, and finally, after 4 times of Greg Page lost his mouthpiece, he takes away a point.
It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what happens if he keeps getting it knocked out. What do they do? Disqualify a fighter? I mean, you know,
I believe after enough points, that's the way they have to go.
That would be a first. I don't think I've ever seen that, Bob.
More controversy in Las Vegas.
Welcome to this side of the ring, Bob. Controversy is our name.
We're going to listen into Damiani's corner, and with the help of our translator, Dr. Thomas Kolika.
Non devi stare vicino a tirare il montante al naso, perché ho visto. È da stupidi stare lì a pigliare, soffialo un po'. No, allora vabbè. Mi dai un po' di vaselina? Devi essere più determinato questo, capito? Più determinato, lui non ce la fa, e quando sei vicino non ti riposare stando lì appoggiato, ti metti dentro quel colpo, capito? Stai iniziando il mettere onesto, capito? Il metto onesto,
It seems like Damiani's trainer was telling him to be a little bit more determined, and he was reassuring him that there's no way that he's going to take this bout. And he just said to be a little bit more determined and to fight a little bit harder.
That's what happens when you can speak Italian. I thought he said there wasn't enough oregano in the pasta. You know, I could swear he said the oregano wasn't as good as it has been.
Well, some of that oregano just wound up underneath the left eye of Damiani, because he's got a little swelling going from Page's right hand now, and Page seems a little more motivated this round.
Well, he better be. He just had a 10-8 round. They just took a point away from him.
Yeah, I think he's got a long way to go to get this one in the bag.
Well, either, you know, we are in Las Vegas. Either we're not looking at it right, but it seems that Damiani has been controlling. He's just got a point taken away from him. And outside that clear-cut first round, I haven't seen Page win anything. He's been going back. He's been getting pummeled. He's been spitting out his mouthpiece.
Page certainly looked a lot more impressive in his previous 2 fights with Bone Crusher Smith and Razor Ruddock. We're into round 6, scheduled for 10. Damiani having his way.
Nice hook by Damiani after going to the body.
He's working the inside much more effectively than Page. Page is an outside boxer more than an inside fighter. Damiani also, although he does box from the outside line, this fight he is all inside.
Well, it was the Razor Ruddock fight where he looked superb because he was so strong. And then when he came to Bone Crusher, he looked awful. He was just not there that night. And tonight he's not here either.
He knocked Bone Crusher down in, what, 10 seconds? And then the rest of the fight just wasn't the same.
He was discouraged that he didn't stay down.
Damiani's eye is swelling quite a bit now. It'll be interesting to see that fight with Ray Mercer and that broken nose, how he handles facial adversity.
Well, a swollen eye hurts a little bit less than a broken nose, as you know, Bobby.
Oh, yes, I do.
That blinding pain of a broken nose is really something. And to get up and face Mercer, that was another idea, a different idea than he had.
Yeah, Ray is a murderous puncher, and it was a credit to Damiani that he tried, but his nose was in very, very bad shape.
I remember, Damiani's got something to fight for here. He looks good here. He's on American television. We're always looking for heavyweights to present themselves to the competition, and he's making himself a viable fighter now.
As I said earlier, it's a great showcase on this card. It's just a tremendous opportunity for both fighters, and right now it appears as if Damiani wants it more.
Damiani continues to come forward. Under 30 seconds to go in the 6th round, and Damiani is really dictating the tempo of this fight. And as Page gets tagged.
There goes the mouthpiece. Page is in a little bit of trouble just now. A right hand over the top, then a right uppercut. He is mixing up the combinations beautifully.
And Page is in trouble. For the 5th time, he loses his mouthpiece, and now Damiani senses a finish, perhaps. But safe is Greg Page at the end of round 6 as the bell sounds.
And that was a shellacking.
Page was fighting a better round right up until that point, and he ran into another right hand over the top and then an uppercut. I'm very impressed with the way he's mixed the angle of the punches. Underneath, over the top, around the side. Very impressive.
You eat him to death with his left jab.
Well, he is on a roll. He's won every round since the second. He's got a 10-8 round where they took a point away in the 5th. So let's take a look in 3 different views. Let's look at it. I'll take a look at this one, and you can see where that uppercut got him in trouble. Then the hook, and then comes a raining of punches. It's a miracle that he kept together. Let's look for it. You look at a different view, Bobby.
And you see him coming into Page. Boom. He's timing him with that right uppercut. Now, after the right uppercut, he'll rip up another punch up or two, and then he'll come around. Here they pushed off, but he's been mixing them very, very nicely.
Well, here's a different view. You can see what you're saying is exactly right.
Over the top, underneath, he's being real effective.
That's exactly right, Bobby. What you nailed right is that he's throwing for some strange angle, and he changes it all the time. Just when you expect it to come one way, it comes another.
Sure, when a fighter gets hit, he immediately wants to block that side he just got hit on, and now Damiani's hitting him from another side. So he's keeping him off balance and keeping him off guard.
Well, Page has certainly got to do something to come back here, and he looks like he's starting out with the right idea.
All right, round 7 now, scheduled for 10. And Greg Page really having it dished out to him towards the end of that last round and looking to bounce back.
I think he is at the point of no return. Again, I'm not one of the officials, and anything can happen, especially in the fight game in Las Vegas. But I think he's at the point of no return and must start winning rounds convincingly right now.
If not, knock him out. The danger I saw in that last thing is Damiani doesn't look like a guy who can put out an all-out assault and then not have to pay the price the next round because he's out of gas for a while. He doesn't look like one of these kind of guys that will pound you to death every round. He goes one round and then he's got to rest the next round.
Yeah, I think he does take his time, take a little break after big flurries, big combinations. He expended a lot of energy toward the end of that round. They're both a little tired. They've forced a hard inside fight pace, so I'm sure he'd take a round or two.
There goes the mouthpiece again.
For the 6th time in the fight, Greg Page losing the mouthpiece. Padilla picks it up and just shovels it over to the Page corner.
This time he just threw it. He didn't go and hand it like normal. He just threw it on the ground.
Disgusted fashion. How about that?
And Page says, where's my mouthpiece? Where's my break? Where's my water? Oh, here he goes. Padilla says, oh, you see how he manhandled him? That was tonight.
He's upset at Greg Page, who cannot hold on to the mouth. There goes the 7th time.
What is this, some kind of record? This
Got
is the 8th.
I don't know if it's a record, but be careful. This fight's going to get taken away in points alone.
Damiani would have to get very unlucky now. This is the 7th round, and he's having his way.
Look at Damiani's expression. Come on.
Here comes another point.
That's the 2nd time Carlos Padilla has taken a point away from Page in his fight for losing the mouthpiece.
And Damiani's making all kind of European gestures. Hey, oh, whoa, what's happening here?
Page is pleading his case that the mouthpiece is too big. He doesn't want to use it. I can't understand how a fighter can have a fighter. It's not possible that a fighter can come into a fight like that with a mouthpiece that isn't molded to his mouth.
Please, it's impossible. You know that, Bobby. We have them made specially for each fighter. Everybody does. Page does. That's an insult to the intelligence of whoever he's trying to convince.
And what does that say, you know, for the preparation in the corner?
What it says is they're looking for an alibi where there is no alibi. You can't float that ham into my refrigerator. I'm sorry. That one don't fit.
I was looking forward to the Greg Page I saw fight Razor Ruddock, and this is not the same Greg Page, unfortunately. And we have to give Damiani his credit, too. He has made his fight plan stick. He has stuck to it. He has carried it out, and he has not varied from it. So we got to give him his due, too.
And let me tell you, it validates him as an opponent because he's strong, he's tough, and he comes forward fighting. I mean, I can see him and several of the top guys in great matches. And
round 7 concludes. Another tough one for Page. Well, standing by in his dressing room, getting ready for the main event, the challenger. Three-time world champion Hector Macho Camacho, saving a lot of money on his wardrobe tonight, no question about that. Criticized for his recent inactivity, but he says part of the reason his insatiable desire to fight Julio Cesar Chavez has had no motivation to fight anyone else but Chavez. He firmly believes he is the only fighter in the world who has what it takes to defeat the great Chavez. And the Thomas and Mack Center here in Las Vegas, close to being filled up to capacity, 19,100. The fans settling in for what promises to be a most exciting and entertaining main event, the WBC Super Lightweight Championship. Round 8. A lot of Vaseline on the face of Greg Page as he comes back into it.
I'm surprised Padilla didn't take that off of his eye. You know, that's not good for the fighter as well as for the other. That gets in your eye as well. Not a good idea.
I was never a proponent of too much Vaseline on my eyes, even when they swelled. Get a little bit on there, but too much just winds up getting punched into your eye, and that's just going to cause more problems.
Yeah, you start to water your eyes. You can't see it, blurs. Oh, there goes his mouthpiece this time.
He's closing in on double figures.
That was number 9. You know, 2 warnings. The third warning may just disqualify him. And he says, stop, and he says, I'm trying.
I'm trying, right.
I'm trying. Give me break.
Well, his mouth is open. He is tired, but that mouthpiece should stay in.
Yeah, he shouldn't have his mouth open when he's getting punched, but that's the way that goes. And you know, they've been using just now Inswell for the first time on the on that eye of Damiani that's swelling. Actually, it's not Inswell. It looks like it looks like an Inswell. It's an Italian spaghetti spoon bent over and put in ice and put there. And Bobby, I want you to watch that. You know about that.
That's not bad.
In a good show of sportsmanship, you may have noticed Damiani reached out and looked to touch Greg Page's glove, as if to say, I relate to what's going on.
Well, Greg's not real happy about the situation. He didn't touch gloves back. And, you know, when the mouthpiece fell again, it didn't appear as if it was a molded mouthpiece. And I can't imagine a fighter at this level of the game having one that is not made for his mouth specifically.
Certainly he didn't send off to Ring Magazine for just any old mouthpiece. I mean, this guy is good. If Damiani was a real sport, he'd give him his mouthpiece. Why not? You know, why not? He's got about 8 mouthpieces.
30 is out of control, ladies and gentlemen. Less than a minute 30 in the 8th round. So you're saying there are custom-made mouthpieces, and like Bobby often wears one on the air.
Oh, no, we won't have one on the air because I won't be able to talk. Well, you can be sure, even if I open my mouth, it is stuck to the top of my teeth. Right. I want to keep these pretty little teeth.
Yes, they mold them like a dentist molds your plates, and they do fit exactly. And for it to come out, you really got to punch. But Bobby, I agree with you. That doesn't look like a molded mouthpiece.
Another good right hand by Damiani, but for once the mouthpiece stayed in. What, he got it about 8, 9 times now?
It is now down to 9. 9 times.
We're
a record for
double figures.
A record, yeah. Goes in the American Hall of Dentistry as a record.
I think it's going to be a record for 19,000 fans, too.
I wonder if he's going to get letters in the mail from dentists.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, a heavy right hand.
That right hand hurt. Page in trouble a little bit.
Page buckled. He staggered.
He's cut too.
Yes.
Right over the bridge of the nose.
There is blood.
That might have been the headbutt that he got when Damiani came back up after a punch and hit him with a head.
Damiani now smothering Greg Page, swarming, looking to end this thing.
That right hand has been pay dirt all day long.
And he got hit right in the bottom. Did Damiani. So now they've got blood in the eye as well as a mouthpiece that won't stay in. Big problem for Greg Page.
And it fell again.
And he did it again, number 10.
Well, there's the championship bell. Julio Cesar Chavez taking in the action in his dressing room as we close in on the main event a little bit later with Hector Camacho. Chavez opened at 7-1 as the favorite. Has dropped to 5-1 here in Las Vegas. There's young Julio, his son. And no matter what happens, Chavez will earn $3 million, as will Camacho, in a fight that will have one of the highest grossing gates ever below the welterweight division. $4.55 million.
Let's take a look when Damiani hurts him, and you can see the power of his punches. Now, he's coming out. There's a shot right there.
He
then he
reaches
comes
back
with
and loads
another.
in.
Watch his, if we went further, you could see his head come back up, and that's where I think his nose got hurt. Either way, Greg Page is falling apart.
See, at least Damiani's throwing some punches with bad intentions, and Greg Page right now has not.
Well, I think Greg Page has slowly slipped into a survival fight. He has not had any intention of winning this fight from about 4 rounds back. I mean, he has been fighting defensively to keep from getting knocked out. He hasn't taken command or even tried to.
We certainly were nearing the end. Take a desperation shot, if nothing more. Give it your all for 30 seconds, for a minute, for 2 minutes.
Bobby, I was just handed a note. I don't know if that's possible. They said a new mouthpiece was put in to be tried. Another mouthpiece. Where would he get that? Just go back to the dressing room and say you got a mouthpiece that Page can use?
You know, I always carry a spare, but I only use one actually in the ring. The other one I leave in my dressing room.
Yeah. No.
Well, Greg Page is running out of time. This is round number 9. And I think the motivation behind this performance by Page is that he will not have to talk to the fight doctor afterwards.
Well, I thought I'd motivated him to fight strongly so he could say, I told you so, Doc, but
wasn't in him.
It just wasn't there. I think he is having difficulty reading the handwriting on the wall, which is saying you don't have much longer in this game.
Wicked left jab there by Damiani.
Right now, I think the pace is also taking quite a bit out of Greg Page. I don't know if he has enough left to do what he needs to even make it a real close fight toward the end.
And blood dripping from the right eye area of Greg Page.
Yeah, I'd like to see Damiani in with Mercer again. I'd like to see him in with Morrison again. I mean, with Morrison, not again, but I'd like to see him in there. I'd like to see him in with a lot of guys. Lennox Lewis would be a good fight.
Damiani, when we spoke to him yesterday, gave us the sense that he was, nearing the end of his career. I asked him what he planned to do after the career was over. He said he'd like to stay in boxing as a fight manager, a co-manager, but he might just roll along after tonight and have some more success.
I see no reason for him quitting off this fight. Off this fight, here's where he can get the big bucks.
Certainly his stock has gone up today. There's no reason for him to quit yet. But it's nice that he loves the sport so much he wants to stay involved with it post his fighting days.
I don't see any reason. I don't see any signs of him not being in the sport. He's been fighting very well. What are you going to say to this guy? You don't think he and Morrison would be a fight? Tommy Morrison?
I think it'd be a very, very good fight. I really do. Tommy's a big, big puncher. But this man here tonight has shown us an endurance level that Tommy Morrison has not demonstrated as of recent times.
Exactly.
And
that's what I'm referring to.
A frontal assault there on Greg Page. Damiani looks like he is in very good condition. Just to echo what Bobby said, he's only lost once in 30 fights, 24 knockouts.
And not to give it a different twist, but this is what was happening with Morrison when the light shades went out. He was winning every round, and all of a sudden, boop, a turn of fate, and he broke his nose. So it really is a 10-round fight, Bobby, not a 9-round fight.
And we will be going to the 10th round.
Come on, man.
Hold your head up now, baby.
All right, it's the last round, baby. All right, come on. Come on, relax now. Come on now.
Hold your head up. Hold your head up.
Okay.
Hold your head up.
Come on, quick now,
You're
man.
in the
10th round. You're in the last round, all right? All right? Come on, let's go and win this round. Come on.
See, I think if you go back and look at the fights of Mercer Morrison, look at Mercer Damiani, styles are so important in fights. Just because fighter A beats fighter B and fighter B beats fighter C, A doesn't necessarily get to beat C. Styles are so important in this game, it's incredible.
That's why Camacho says he's going to win in the main event.
Okay. Guardami.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to tell the final represent the cheer on the end of the center of the ring, Francesco Damiani and Greg Page, round 10.
And round 9 was distinguished because I think that was the first time he didn't drop his mouthpiece out, Greg Page. And that might have been the first time in about 6 rounds that it didn't fall out.
And here we go, the 10th and final round.
Well, it seems obvious this is going to a decision. I wonder how Mexican fighters feel about Italian men if we have a funny decision.
I don't think there's a relation there, Bob.
No, that's okay.
No, Italian wrestlers very seldom are in competition with Mexican wrestlers. So
Fair enough.
Two different things.
So I would say that Mr. Page has a little catching up to do here.
Well, as we said, it is a 10-round fight, and as long as you're big men, you can always change things with one punch.
I'll never forget when...
Look out now. Carlos Padilla upset. Well, it's been a long night for Padilla as Damiani unleashed on the break.
I think Damiani is now good and tired. He knows he's way ahead. There's no desperation to win this round. He's kind of just grabbing and stabbing here.
Yeah, but I saw Mike Weaver do that to John Tate with 15 seconds left in the 15th round. He wasn't paying attention. He got hit with a left hook. The fight was over.
And he was losing that bad.
Oh, Tate had won 13 in the first 14 rounds. It was unbelievable.
How about Chavez Taylor?
Yeah, that's maybe the most impressive of that ilk.
So that's about all that Greg Page has to look forward to if he wants to win this fight. He needs a dramatic finish here with less than a minute and a half remaining in the 10th round. Meanwhile, it looks like Damiani won't allow it to happen. He continues to blanket Page.
He has held a great pace for a man who does not appear to have done an awful lot of road work by his physical stature.
What you're left with is one guy has thrust himself into the heavyweight picture and the other guy's looking for the exit door. That's about all you got here.
Unfortunately, that's how it appears.
Huge welt under the left eye of Damiani, not hindering him at all, though. But it's been a night that has seen the mouthpiece of Greg Page fall out about 9 times. He's lost a couple of points as a result.
Actually, there was a 10th time 1 second after the bell.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I have 10 marked down.
So he hit double figures. Combinations to the head and body by Damiani, who's finishing strong.
Now, see there, Page fought back, and he fought back hard, went to the body, stayed inside, but he needed to do that for the entire fight.
Look at Damiani going right to the corner, right to finish him off, like if he had him in trouble. There's only 16 seconds left. He doesn't need to take a chance, Bobby.
He wants to be impressive, and I think that's just in his mind right now.
So Damiani finishes by stalking Greg Page into his own corner. And that is it. Francesco Damiani with a very good performance against Greg Page. Damiani looking to make it 30-1. And now we will stand by and await the decision. Hugs and kisses all around of the Damiani corner. And a long night for Greg Page, who is certainly going to go in quest of a new mouthpiece when this night is over. Take a look at some of the action from the last round, which was all Francesco Damiani.
And you wonder why he's fighting this hard, because he's got this fight won. Of course, it's never any good to be that confident, but Bobby, when you put on a performance like this, Bobby, would you have fought that hard?
Sometimes your adrenaline takes over. You feel you have your man. You feel you're in control, and it's just a fighter's nature. There you see him. He was going to the body, brought the punches up to the head. Now he chases him back into the corner. He wants to be impressive so badly, and he's high now. He's on a real rush.
And you know what, Bobby? He was impressive in that last round. At least he took it, and he took it to him when he could have released him and let it go.
Showed me a lot.
We are standing by for the decision. Not much in question. This capacity crowd on hand. Let's throw it up to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of boxing, we have a unanimous decision. All 3 judges, Jerry Roth and Dave Moretti and Art Lurie, scored about the same. All 3 scoring at 95 to 93. All 3 in favor of the winner, Francesco Damiani.
And Bobby, we are in Never Never Land.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to get out of this business and stay in commentary. Either I was watching the wrong fight, or I don't know what I'm talking about either. Because I did not see a fight that was that close.
Nowhere was it that close. And on top of which, they took 2 points away from the guy. That means if they hadn't taken 2 points, it was a draw. That fight was a draw.
That fight was not a draw. I mean, I just do not understand it. I'm having an awful difficult time being able to justify that whatsoever.
Well, now you understand the frustration that we've been having year after year after year. When you sit here and you watch something and you say, how can that possibly be? If 2 points were taken away from the fighter, had they not been, it was a draw. That fight was a draw. Unbelievable.
Well, no question is Damiani hears it from the crowd that he won the fight. But, boy, a lot closer than we thought. Right now, let's go to Earl Abdullah.